All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So, as we all know, the New York Jets are going to be taking on the Green Bay Packers in their second week of preseason, Saturday, 4:30 Eastern. By the way, that game's going to be shown on NFL Network, so awesome stuff there. But I wanted to bring on Bass from Basaraski Productions. Bass, how are you, man?
I'm doing well, man. Ian, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So I think and real quick, before we jump in, all of his links are down below in the description, Twitter, Instagram, and then of course his YouTube channel. So the New York Jets in their first preseason matchup against the Giants looked pretty good. There wasn't much to complain about, but the whole Zach Wilson situation was really, really encouraging. Completed a lot of passes, 6 for 9. The arm strength was there. The mobility was there. He took care of the football, no interceptions, nothing like that. He didn't even get sacked too. But the only caveat, the only downside to the situation was the fact that the Giants barely rolled out any starters. Like no Bradbury, no Leonard Williams, no Adoree Jackson. There was hardly anybody out there. When we're looking ahead to Saturday's game, and of course we don't have all the answers here, but what do you think the Packers plan is going to be on defense as far as letting guys like Kenny Clark out there, Alexander, Savage? I mean, the Packers have studs on the defensive side of the football. Are they going to let those guys roll?
Now, as of last week, none of those guys played. Pretty much no starters on defense played. Now, Eric Stokes did play 2 drives, but Kevin King's out. So who knows if Eric Stokes even starts this year to begin the year at outside corner opposite side of Jair. But I would say there's no way Jair plays. If any starters play, it's going to be for 1 drive, and even that I doubt. Last year with no preseason, the Packers are fine. There was no preseason due to COVID, so the Packers were still fine. Matt LaFleur said he's pretty 100% on the first 45 guys of this roster. So then it gives the other 8 guys that they have to use preseason for talent evaluation. So last week, no starting defensive lineman out there. Last week, no starting linebackers, safeties, corners, all the above.
That's crazy, man. That's really crazy. I mean, it's a little I don't want to say I guess it's a little upsetting because it's like, you want to see, as far as the Jets fans are concerned, like you want to see your starting quarterback, the rookie quarterback, the second overall pick, show what he can do against a first team defense. And it's already preseason. So like the game plans, the schemes, it's already, super basic, super vanilla. So the fact that it's going to be against, 2s and 3s just makes it a little less satisfying. But I mean, the reps are still valuable nonetheless. But one thing that's absolutely crazy or ironic, I guess, is the fact that Zach Wilson's, played college ball in Utah, big arm guy who's mobile, tons of highlights, tons and tons and tons of BYU highlights. But the Packers also have a quarterback that played his college ball in Utah who has tons of highlights, a big arm guy who's mobile, Jordan Love. What's your take about Jordan Love? How did you like that pick? Because I felt like, I don't know many Packers fans, but I felt like the overall reception to that draft pick was up in the air. Some fans liked it, some fans didn't. It was a little reminiscent of Rodgers, but what was your take?
I mean, I liked it. If they believe that is their guy in terms of the future, hey, go for it. Like Brian Gutekunst had a wonderful first draft, getting Jair Alexander. So after that, if they want to have their guy of the future in Jordan Love, I'm okay with that. The Green Bay Packers are going to be around way longer after Aaron Rodgers retires. And I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. And I agree, he's carried this franchise on his back since 2009, 2010. And they haven't really given him a lot of help, no first round skill positions outside of Jordan Love, if you count that. So overall, I'm okay with it. But I think they should also, walk that line of giving Aaron Rodgers what he wants as well. Not making him out to be this lame duck quarterback. And we saw this whole situation in this offseason with, how his contract is, and a lot of reports saying he wasn't going to come back. I thought he was going to come back the whole time, but it's to be seen if this is his last year. We don't know yet. So then, last week we have Jordan Love getting his first ever NFL snaps, and he had a very good game. I believe he was 3rd in quarterback rating with a little bit over 110. So he had a very good game, banged up his shoulder around halftime. So it's going to be unknown if he plays this weekend.
Yeah. And the whole thing last season with no preseason, it must've been tough to draft a quarterback first round. You already have Rodgers on the team, so Love is not going to start year one, and then to have no preseason game, so you have like no sort of closure at all. Like, how does this guy look? How is he progressing? All you really have to go off of are just the practices in the training camp practices and whatnot as well. But he was inactive for the most part of last season,
All of it,
right?
all of it. He didn't. This is last Saturday was the first time he actually wore a real Packers jersey on field.
Yeah. So, I mean, you must have been glued to the TV.
Oh yeah, exactly. This is the most anticipated I've been for a preseason game probably in my entire football life.
So I know he banged up the shoulder.
Yes.
The status is up in the air. Do you think it's more because all I've seen are just like, the national headlines and everything like that? I haven't really dug deep into the situation. Are you leaning more towards Love playing or not playing?
I think if he gets a little bit of some reps tomorrow. So today he didn't get any. He came out and talked to Wilson and Rogers at the end there. But if he is at least throwing, maybe not doing team sessions tomorrow because, with the joint practices and all that, you don't want to chance it. But if he even goes out there in individual drills and throws a little bit tomorrow, I say there's a good chance. But if he doesn't tomorrow, the Packers did just re-sign the camp quarterback Jake Dolgala, and then also they have Kurt Benkert. So I think they'll just roll with those two if he doesn't do anything tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting, because it's like, I mean, we talked about the Giants not rolling any starters out on defense. They also didn't roll any starters out or a lot of starters out on offense. We didn't even get Daniel Jones, not even for one
Wow.
series. So
that's surprising. I thought you think Dan Jones would at least run like 2 or 3 series.
yeah. So I mean, just from like a Jets fan's perspective here, I want to see Love out there because to go back to back preseason weeks with like not any starters, it's a little upsetting. But we talked a little bit about you talked a little bit about Eric Stokes to begin with. First round pick out of Georgia, a guy who I really liked. The Jets really liked Stokes, back before the draft. Blazing speed, really good in zone coverage. What's your take about Eric? What's your take on Stokes? The draft pick itself, were you hoping for, and it's kind of a little side tangent here, but I felt like the Packers were going to draft Elijah Moore, to be honest.
I liked him.
And then he fell to the Jets at 34. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was thinking Stokes was probably going to be the pick for the Jets at 34. And then it was just weird how it worked out like that. But what's your take on Stokes?
So at first I kind of had Tyson Campbell, the other Georgia corner above him, but now looking back, and I don't want to sound too biased, but I do like Stokes a lot. I mean, that speed, you cannot pass that up. That's something you cannot teach. And I like the situation they're bringing Stokes into. He doesn't have to start week 1, so long Kevin King's healthy, and that's a big if because he's always hurt. But Kevin King is going to be the outside corner come week 1. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but usually you don't want to push a corner into stardom right away week 1. It doesn't bode well. Veteran quarterbacks pick on them all game, and once they get down in momentum, it's sometimes hard to come back from. But I like the situation he's in. He can learn under Jair, which is always a plus, and then come in when he needs to or overtake Kevin King.
Yeah, man, I really, really like Stokes. But I mean, this DB room better than anybody. How do you think Zach Wilson's going to look against this Packer? Or dang, like I keep forgetting not a single, or I guess it's expected, but not a single starter is going to be out there. But how do you think Zach Wilson's going to look regardless? Because I mean, the depth as well.
So I know he was picking on Jair a little bit today in practice. So at least he got that. At least he gets these practices to go against Jair with Corey Davis or whatever. So that's good. But obviously Jair's not going to be out there. I don't think Kevin King's going to be out there because he's been a little iffy with his hamstring. So the starting 2 quarterbacks or cornerbacks outside would be Eric Stokes and probably at this rate, Kavian Ento. Kavian Ento is a former wide receiver from Colorado in 2019, converted cornerback, giving me nostalgic feels from Sammy Shields back in the day. But he's actually had a very good game last week, very, very good game. And now that they traded Josh Jackson and brought in Isaac Yadam, he'll get some snaps as well. And then the slot corners, Chandon Sullivan might get a drive. And then after that, they're going to move on to their draft pick, Marjon Charles. I think in the 5th round they drafted him. Very, very promising slot cornerback there. So I think Zach Wilson should have some success or a decent amount of success against these corners. I mean, these are young, not much experience type of guys there. So he should definitely have his looks.
Yeah, dude. Charles from App State. He was another guy that I wanted the Jets to target late. And then I think the Jets coaching staff actually really liked Charles as well. So possible steal there. And then obviously you had that trade too with Yadam coming in. Yeah. We're going to see Yadam back-to-back weeks here.
Yeah.
So weird. So weird. But another outside of Zach Wilson, I would say the biggest storyline is the defensive line success so far, whether it was, in that Giant game or throughout training camp. Carl Lawson has been on an absolute tear.
Yeah.
He has been awesome. What's your take on the Packers offensive line? How do you think it's going to look against this Jets defensive line?
So again, with the starters thing, so
Yeah.
obviously Bakhtiari is still in the PUP, so who knows if he'll even go week one. So the one thing is Elton Jenkins has been filling in at left tackle and has been absolutely amazing. A guy that can play anywhere on the offensive line, but he's not going to play in the preseason either. So then our left tackle is going to come down to Josh Nijman. Now, does Carl Lawson line up on the left tackle or the right, or does he mix it up?
I would say left.
On the left. Okay, so Josh Nijman, some people say he had an okay game last week. I don't agree with that. I think he let up the edge a lot. He's the one who let up the strip sack that hurt Jordan Love's shoulder. So just a guy that's fringe roster, probably not even going to make the roster, is going to be starting at left tackle. So Carl Lawson should have a field day. Right tackle, Dennis Kelly went down in practice today, so he's not going to play. So that's going to go down to 6th round draft choice out of Wisconsin, Cole Van Lanen, who's a left tackle playing right tackle. Mm-hmm. And then at guards, we have a lot of depth. We have John Runyon Jr., Ben Braden, Lucas Patrick, and 4th round rookie Royce Newman. So last week it was Lucas Patrick and John Runyon. They didn't have a good game. So I think this week they're going to go with someone like Braden and Newman. And then, of course, our 2nd round draft choice, Josh Myers out of Ohio State at center. He actually had a very nice game last week.
Dude, I mean, you're rattling off these Packers picks like, Charles and Stokes and, Myers. He was a center at Ohio State, a guy who I wanted the Jets to snag. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together like back in April, but like just hearing all these names, I'm like, man, that was a guy who I wanted New York to draft, and same with that guy. So it's weird. It should be an awesome game. I'm really looking forward to it. Zach Wilson's first road game as well in legendary Lambeau Field. So should be a lot of fun. But Bass, I appreciate you hopping on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude, of course. And like I said before, all of his links are down below in the description box. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, go Jets.